This is not really a show per se. I'm not gonna do the sponsors and all that stuff. I just really wanted to let you know what's happening in the morning. I've been spending most of the weekend learning about the criminal trial of Hoot Crawford that begins tomorrow morning at 8:30 at the Bay County Courthouse. This is a case where an attorney, a local attorney, was arrested by Sheriff Tommy Ford's office for representing his client, who was a 16-year-old girl, the victim of sexual assault in another state. Just a girl who was going through a lot of emotional trauma. And I guess I need to get this out so that there's not a lot of confusion. Years ago, 7 years ago or so in Tennessee, this 16-year-old girl was, 9 or so, and she had made accusations that her little brother had, or maybe older, but they were kids, had sexually molested her, and then later she said that it wasn't true, and so on and so forth. But what does appear to be true, from what I read in the depositions and stuff like that, is that her biological father had raped her. So she is a victim. Whether or not her brother did it is a long time ago in another state as kids is in dispute. She says now it didn't happen. I believe her. But here's what's very, very disturbing is, and we've seen this in national news, attorneys being arrested for representing their clients. And in the case of Hoot Crawford, who was arrested on May 6th of 2022, it was a dramatic story. WMBB said that he kidnapped a girl from an interview who was supposed to, he interjected himself into an interview with authorities, kidnapped a girl and ran over a DCF investigator, and then holed up for an hour before they could arrest him. Every bit of that is a damn lie. Every bit of it's propaganda. But what I've learned today is that in the morning, our lead prosecutor, Larry Basford's office, they're going to argue that even if the girl had her constitutional rights violated, Florida Constitution is where you'll find Marcy's law that guarantees that victims of crimes like this have an advocate. So when you arrest her advocate and then you snatch her away, like the Bay County Sheriff's Office did, and take her back and question her with DCF, and then again question her with the Bay County Sheriff's Office without her attorney present, and ask her what you and your attorney talked about. We just arrested him. It's shocking stuff. There is a rule in the 14th Circuit that authorities can only question a minor victim of sexual assault 3 times. Well, she's been questioned far more than that. They continue to traumatize this girl and not let her have her advocate, her lawyer. And the more I look at this, now what I've told you now is all true. These are facts of the case. But it's beginning to look more to me like election interference. It's beginning to look to me like Hoot Crawford has expressed interest in running for state attorney against Larry Basford this August. But like Greg Wilson, who in 2018, this happened to him, 2017, 2018, on some crazy offense that to me looks wacky as hell. Tomorrow's the case, and they're charging him tomorrow with interfering with the custody of the state. They said that the state had custody of this girl. When they showed up, he was representing her. The family was there. The estranged biological father's out of the picture. There's a new adoptive father who loves her. He and mom were there, along with her advocate, her attorney, which the Florida Constitution guarantees she has. But she didn't really have one because they arrested him. I've read the depositions. The guy who arrested Hoot Crawford, Lieutenant Jeremy Mathis, said in his depositions that while she was with Hoot Crawford, she was in no danger. Yet they claimed she was in imminent danger, and they claimed that they had just proclaimed that she's in state custody instead of going through the process of getting a court order, which took about a little more than an hour. The story got so crazy that WMBB and State Attorney Larry Basford and Sheriff Tommy Ford, they were all saying that Hoot Crawford ran over the DCF worker. Bernie, we didn't say that. We were just charging her with striking the DCF agent with his vehicle. What I'm going to show you first, before I really show you the reason I'm on right now, I'm going to show you their motion. Tomorrow morning, they're going to argue to the judge and tell the judge things that the jury should not hear. It's called a motion in limine. And their motion in limine is unbelievable. I'm going to show it to you. But let me just catch you up with this one thing first. And this is what they said happened for a year and a half. They just dropped this charge a few days ago because it was a utter lie. Why would they lie about him like this? Watch. Why would State Attorney Larry Basford and Sheriff Tommy Ford say that this woman was run over by that white car? Why would they say that? What's happened at this point is the attorney, Hoot Crawford, and his client, the 16-year-old girl, who needed an advocate with the authorities there at a voluntary interview at the Children's Advocacy Center. DCF wanted to interview her, so did the sheriff's office. Voluntary interview. It got pretty hostile, and the attorney, Hoot Crawford, said, are we free to go? I'll take her to my office, and if you guys get a court order, I'm an officer of the court. I'll turn her right over to you. Well, the sheriff's office got very angry. And so the sheriff's office said, we'll call and have DCF put her in state custody right now, Hoot, and kick you out of the Children's Advocacy Center. Incidentally, the investigator who said that is on the board of directors for the Children's Advocacy Center, as is Sheriff Tommy Ford and as is State Attorney Larry Basford. They were all on the board of directors for the nonprofit. They all said the girl was in no imminent danger with her attorney, but they arrested him anyway because they said he interfered with state custody. Their argument is they can just say that she's in state custody and voila, she is. They don't need a court order, but they'll get one anyway. So at this point, Hoot and the girl are free to go. They walk out to their car, but as they get out there, this DCF investigator runs out and says, hey, we just put her in state custody. We just put her in state custody. And you'll hear Hoot Crawford say, look, please just get a court order and come to the office if that's what you guys are doing. But I can't just turn my client over to you. So she tries to falsely imprison him. That's what it's called, false imprisonment, by blocking his vehicle. He has nowhere to go. He has to back up and then go forward over this curb. It's false imprisonment. She committed a crime. She's not a law enforcement officer. She cannot detain him. But Sheriff Ford and State Attorney Basford liked that she did, evidently, and then told you that he ran her over. Watch.
Very kindly to get a judge to order it. Please, I'll be at my office. You'll be there with me. She'll be at my office. She'll be there. I'm going to play by the seat. Man, you have to have one of us by the arm. Around.
So the woman in the black, the thin woman in the black, is the DCF investigator who says that she was struck by Hoot Crawford's car as he fled the scene. 3 days later, she goes to an emergency room for treatment, and then she goes on workers' comp for like 4 months or more. Watch how bad she was run over as Hoot Crawford was fleeing the scene, kidnapping his client. Watch this.
Because we're going to walk away from this right now. You haven't shown us any authority whatsoever. You didn't have a seat, please. We'll be at my office. We'll be at my office.
Okay, he's getting in the car. She's standing, but she's falsely imprisoning him right now. She is detaining him by standing in his path. He's going to back up a couple of feet.
That's enough of a threat.
Probably touches her, and then puts the car forward. You'll hear the gear going forward. Watch. Shift gears, gone. She claims she was run over so bad, she went on work comp for more than 4 months. Let's see how injured she is.
I'll be at my office, just like I told him.
Okay, and then the video goes on a little bit. This is the surveillance video from the Gulf Coast Children's Advocacy Center. She will come back out from the right side. She's carrying a very, it looks like a heavy backpack or something. But the injury she sustained there required an ER visit 3 days later and work comp for half a year or so. See how injured she is? She didn't even tell law enforcement who ran past her to chase down Hoot Crawford for stealing the girl. She didn't even tell them she got hit by a car right there. Okay, this is why would our local prosecutor of 6 counties, why would they say that for more than a year and then drop the charge? And now they're charging him with interfering with custody. That was his client. He was her advocate. Guaranteed under Marcy's law, a constitutional amendment in Florida. But the state attorney and sheriff's office says that the local policy of DCF or Children's Advocacy Center supersedes the Constitution. Look, this is what they're going to argue in the morning. If you want to see this for yourself, you can. It's at the Bay County Courthouse at 8:30 a.m. You should come. You should come sit in the courtroom and watch the first hour of this. This is what they have submitted to the court already a few days ago. My little headline, that's the actual number 3 from the motion in limine, which is what the prosecutors are asking the judge that the jury should not see as they try to put Hoot Crawford in prison. So my little headline is State Attorney Larry Basford is arguing that even if a 16-year-old victim and had her right to an attorney violated, even if that happened, the jury should not hear it. Here's what they say. Here's what they're telling the judge. You can watch them tell the judge this tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning at the Bay County Courthouse. Testimony and argument related to the Florida Constitution, Marcy's law. This is what they don't want the jury to see. They're asking the judge, keep this away from the jury. The defendant, Hoot Crawford, intends on eliciting testimony and arguing that law enforcement violated Marcy's law by failing to provide the girl with an attorney after Hoot Crawford was arrested. Such testimony and argument is improper and should be excluded from trial. Does that sound right or fair? The state disputes that there was a violation of Marcy's law, But even if it happened, accepting arguendo the defendant's position, even if it happened, Hoot Crawford lacks standing to complain someone else's rights were violated. State Attorney Larry Basford intends to argue in the morning to a judge that an attorney lacks standing to complain that his client's rights were violated. I cannot believe what I'm reading. Moreover, such testimony and argument formed the basis of the defendant, Hoot Crawford's, motion to dismiss counts 1 and 2 of the amended information. And information in state court in Florida is like an indictment. So they wanted to amend the indictment, the local indictment, the information, for a violation of due process, which this court has previously denied, and a jury should not be presented such testimony and argument. And you can see at the bottom, this is this state's motion in limine, arguing what the jury should not see because it's improper and would prejudice them. It's got the case number and it's got the filing date that it was filed with the court on January 24. So I wanted you to know this so you could have time to show up at the Bay County Courthouse tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. and see this for yourself. I'll be there doing my best to keep you informed about this. But if our local law enforcement and prosecutors are arresting attorneys now who wanted to run for their seats, and if they believe that a teenage girl does not deserve to have her advocate with her, while they question her more times than is allowed according to the circuit rule, about something that happened in another state like 7 years ago or didn't happen. She says it didn't happen now. Nobody's safe. I mean, I just, you think, I want to see, you think that there's some, at least maybe around here, some rule of law, some justice, some sense. How much time and effort have they spent trying to put Hoot Crawford, an attorney, in prison for representing his client, and denying and arguing that Marcy's law does not take precedence over local policy? I'm just blown away. I mean, sometimes I'm just blown away, and I just felt compelled to come on here and tell you what I'm seeing and how disappointed I am that our own local community would do this to our own local community. The WMBB would lie for all this time again. And it appears to me, now I'm telling you my opinion, it appears to me that it is election interference. It appears to me that they're using a teenage victim as a tool to interfere with the election of the state attorney's office. Or maybe they're just that, or maybe the state attorney's office really believes that woman was run over and really believes that she's on work comp, needed work comp, and really believes that that was not false imprisonment. And maybe they really believe that the local policy supersedes the Constitution and that a teenage victim doesn't deserve to have her advocate. And when they arrest her advocate, that they can snatch her away and interview her and ask her what she told her attorney. Maybe they just really believe that, and nobody's given them proper training. So see for yourself, Bay County Courthouse tomorrow at 8:30. I'll let you know what I see, but I've got nothing else. I don't plan to do anything else other than this. Maybe I'll see you there, but I'll do my best to let you know what occurs.